Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So welcome everyone to this seminar on yoga, health and spirituality. So my name is Gaur Nataraj and I've been with ISKCON for the last 13 years.
Just want to welcome you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Nataraja. And I've done my engineering in mechanical and I've done my post-graduation in yoga. And for the last 6 to 7 years, I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of research on yoga, especially yoga and mind control. And what you see, the first slide of today's F5. So it's okay? Yes. So everybody can see clearly?
Yes.
No problems? So before I start this seminar, I'll start with a prayer, and before that, I would like to take any inputs from your side, so those who have come like new audience, with a little bit of your expectations. I know it has been advertised as a yoga, health and spiritual seminar, and I just wanted to know, maybe in a sentence, are you expecting also, some other expectations or some other questions which I can add on? In the end, we will also have question answers, but if anything else is there, I would like to know. Is there something else which anybody is looking forward to, some particular things?
Maybe some advice for the youth of today.
Maybe
entering college and how to retain their values.
How to retain their value. Okay. That's
for the others also, like how to manage
All right. So practical aspects on how to manage mind and body. Children, of course, there's a lot of children. I'm having a child too very soon. So children, kids, yoga, and health, food, all this matters. All right. So thank you very much. So we will start with a prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha-kanta Namostate. Tapta-kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha-kalpatarubhyascha Kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yeah, yes, a little bit, so that I can see here.
Oh, Krishna. Yeah, that's the problem.
Hare Krishna. So the first slide we are seeing, actually this is the first page of my book, which is, I don't have copies of it right now, it's almost sold out, it's available only online. So it's called Krishna Yoga. So our goal, in the beginning we set off with an agenda, right? So yoga and spirituality, when we talk about yoga, health and spirituality, the spiritual aspect is the goal. Everyone wants to be happy. But what is real happiness? What is permanent happiness? In the Shastras, there is a definition of happiness, which is eternal, ananda. Right? Everyone gets some happiness, right? We eat some food, we are happy for some time, isn't it? We get some good sleep, we are happy for some time. We get married, we are happy for some time. Right? I'm sorry. I think I don't. Or we, for example, we pass out of college, we get our degree, we are happy for some time. But not all the time, right? Then you have to get some higher degree, get some job. And then once you get a job, I've seen so many of them, every weekend or every month end, they are giving some exams, they are continuing their study. So the point is, your study or your objective doesn't end. So, the first thing we have to understand, the nature of material happiness is temporary. Right? Now yoga, why do we perform yoga? To attain something which is not attainable by any material means. There are two things which is achievable by yoga. One, reduction of suffering. Right? Anyone here who says, I don't suffer? Kindly raise their hands. Everybody suffers with something, isn't it? Either pain from family members, age, or when we went to, like I was in college. So in college, what are the problems that students suffer in college? Let's see. Let's make it a little interactive. What are the problems?
Exams.
Exams, okay. Yeah, that's one problem. Well, actually, let me tell you something. In our campus, there was a Krsna temple. And we drew a graph, okay, of people visiting the temple. So it peaked on weekends, right? But during the, the internal exams, it kind of peaked a little more. Day of semester exams, it peaked more higher. The day of results, it was at the top. Almost everybody visited, except a few atheists who were drunk. But in general, everybody visited, right? They visited the temple. So what does it mean? Either their faith increased on that day, or they were really in need of help. So that's one of the things. Of course, yes, study, this is one of the concern, right? Anything else? Problems of students today?
The poor food quality.
The poor food quality, exactly. That's what I'm about to speak about. The poor food, right? Not the poor you, not the food. Who is suffering because of this food. Like first day I entered my mess in my engineering. So I joined the hostel in the second year, not the first year. So one of my friends introduced me to the mess. Please come in. So first day I went there and they had made vada. He showed me this vada. He said it's like a cricket ball. If you throw it at somebody, he will die. It was so hard. Imagine how hard it was and how the students will digest it. So naturally this affects your way of study, your quality of your study. Like you are what you eat. Have you heard this? Right, your food habits talk about what green matter you have. Seriously. So if you take good food, right, you will also have a good intelligence, good brain. So if you eat poor food, you also become poor. Okay, that's one. Anything else? I thought someone will come up with a big problem, which I was looking for.
Peer pressure to drink, to smoke.
Yes, alcohol, smoking, yes.
I'm broke, almost old.
Almost broke, okay. That's a serious, that's the problem with adults as well. Everyone is almost broke. I do fundraising for my temple, so I know. When you speak to people. Yes, Madhuri.
Oh, I was going to say the same thing.
Same thing? Okay, but still nobody has come up with a big problem yet.
Attraction to opposite sex.
That is, okay, that's a big problem. But there is one more bigger problem, which is right there. Television. Right? So, in television you see everything, virtually, isn't it? Like I speak to so many people over the phone, I give counseling. So the wife keeps complaining, my husband is just playing games. And there was this Thanksgiving and he got 3 games for free. I am not even cared for. The husband comes from the office and just plays games for 3 to 4 hours and he just goes to bed after that. Doesn't even speak to me. Games or TV, you know what is that? Big boss, small boss, whatever, you know. They see all these different things. It affects so much. I would say TV affected me a lot. It made me suffer a lot. But now, I think one of the major problems, many parents complain, my child is just addicted to TV. Right? Anybody faces that problem?
Yeah, I would.
Right? So this television. So we are trying to, what I will try to do is present to you a holistic view of yoga, which you can try to apply. Okay, it's not just, yoga means not just asana, pranayam. It is also, that's also a part of it. But yoga in itself is a whole lifestyle. Right? So let's go to the next slide. No, this. Okay. Of course, this presentation is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is the founder Acharya for ISKCON, and with his blessings, we plan to present something beneficial for all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so in this presentation, I would like to explain to you the importance of yoga, the importance of yoga in today's daily life, the implementation, the practice, diet, and of course a little bit on how you can plan out your yoga. See, yoga not just gives you good health, but I will give you tips on how to save money as well. How yoga can work in all different phases of life. Okay? Now, just to have a look, why is it more important today? In earlier days, people used to live in a very natural setting. They used to get fresh cow's milk, fresh organic food, all this was natural. right? And people did a lot of physical work. Now, how many of us do actually a lot of physical work? Not much, right? 50% of adult population in India is diabetic. 40% of Americans die of cancer, right? Among children, the rate of diabetes has increased more than 20%, isn't it? So if you look at the statistics, this pollution related and stress related, for example, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which is now becoming very common after the age of 40, is all because of stress. You can see when students have exams, what do? They do night out, isn't it? The whole night they sit down and they try to study, and morning they sleep off before the exam. I've seen such instances. So there is a lot of stress in their lifestyle. There is no focus. And because of this, when you carry these habits into even after you get married, people do the same thing. They continue these habits, it leads to a lot of stress. And these lead to other diseases like asthma, asthmatic attacks, diabetes, and also because of the weak mind. Have you heard this term called lunatic? Right? It's lunatic. Lunatic means what? During the full moon and new moon affects the mind. There is a high tide, if you see. Lot of students I have seen in my engineering college, there were a few boys like that who used to get hyper mentally active, and there was one who used to just wear a towel on a full moon day and he used to walk into the college. He would write on his door something. So there were a few cases like this because of a weak mind, especially during full moon and new moon. There is a lot of effect. We did this study even on astrology and other things, taking references from yogic texts. So there is a lot of things that affect you. We'll talk about the problems, but we'll also talk about the solutions as well. Now, to add to the complication that we are having, we talked about, what's your name?
Me? Right. Tasha.
No, yours.
Josh.
Josh, okay. So, like Josh said about food, right? So, this is basically 80% of our today's food is a petroleum byproduct, believe it or not. Right? What is fertilizers? What do they use to feed these plants? Is petroleum byproducts. They want to throw this urea, uric acid. So instead of throwing it away, the petroleum industry dumps it on agriculture industry, so that they get some money out of these waste products, and this is what is widely used. I'll give you a vivid example. I was doing a tour of all Indian major ISKCON temples, and I was doing a 15-day yoga camp in all these major temples. I went to a village temple called as Aravade. Now in Aravade, it is a village, very nice village. I met a group of farmers. And these farmers, I asked them, what do you grow for yourself and for the public? The farmers admitted that for themselves, they will grow on a small half-acre plot, if they have say 20 acres, and rest of the plot they would use with heavy pesticides and other things, and for their own self they would grow with cow dung, cow urine and natural manure. So they know what goes into the market is basically poison. So when we eat this kind of food, naturally it affects us. So even the quality of milk, ghee, like there was a recent study and it was published that 90% of milk today, in India especially, is adulterated completely with paint. with paint, with the detergents that are used in paint. These are pretty bad statistics. That means one thing, slaughter of cows is on the rise. So, and the quality of water also is very, very bad. Therefore, what is the role of yoga in this? So to give us proper education, to give us a proper lifestyle, and yoga is basically a preventive measure for physical and mental and spiritual health. Therefore, yoga is not a post-disease. Of course, it can help, but yoga is basically a preventive measure. So if you practice regularly every day, you will yield the results later on, in the long run. Okay? So let's try to understand. Practice of yoga is an entire lifestyle. Means, what does it include? The way you eat, what you eat, how you deal with others, how much stress do you take, how sincerely you deal. Everything matters, all these subtle aspects. Right? Now, the practice of yoga purifies all 5 koshas. Now here is a small way how to look at it. For example, we talk about pancha kosha. Pancha kosha means, for example, we have our physical body, right? Right. So what do you do with the physical body? You eat food to sustain the body, isn't it? So this physical body. Apart from the physical body, what is the second layer that we have inside that sustains us? Can anybody say?
Mind?
That is the third layer. The second layer is vayu, air. Right? Can you live without breathing for 5 minutes? No. Within 2 minutes we will choke up, isn't it? So this is called as pranavayu, air, life-giving air. Therefore, this vayu or air, so this annamaya kosha, this physical body, the pranamaya kosha, when is somebody declared clinically dead? You are not able to feel his breathing, isn't it? First. So this air holds the body together, this prana, this energy. So annamaya kosha, the physical body, pranamaya kosha, the vayus. Then the third is mental, manomaya kosha. So this manomaya kosha or the mind, because the senses, the air and the body are controlled by the mind. For example, I desire to eat ice cream. Simple example. The mind desires. So what do? You go, right? You go take your car, you go to the ice cream parlor and you eat it, right? So your mind directs the energy and your physical body, isn't it? Therefore, our body is not just one layer of physical body, but there is vayu, air, which holds it together. Then there is the mind, which directs the air. But above the mind is something that we should work on. That is intelligence. That is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. So all of us have intelligence. Yoga is to purify this intelligence so that we can use it to the maximum extent. But the way our lifestyle is today, this intelligence is used to the minimum extent, believe it or not. And mind is basically crippled. But if we transcend, if we keep this physical body healthy, the air in balance, good health, right? The mind in a state of peace, and intelligence sharp, then you can penetrate into higher levels of happiness. That is possible. If you understand this science properly and apply it, it can open up in unlimited ways in which you can actually see how you can become happy rather than how you are living now. Right? So, these practices include asana, pranayama, bandha, mudra, and especially diet. So today we'll go by a sequence how these practices can benefit us and help us. So what is yoga? How can you define? It's a spiritual sadhana, right? It's a lifestyle, it's consistency. Basically yoga is a discipline. I'll tell you, my physics teacher in my college, his name was Mr. Ivy Rao, very nice person. He had two children who were always top in their studies, always top. One, of course, he directed them very nicely. Every day he would keep them very controlled, very disciplined. More than that, what he did, every day, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, he would keep them in their room. He would say, here are your books, study books, and here are your whatever, story books or whatever. He would keep them with their books. And he said, 5 to 7 every day, the only thing you will do is sit and study. Sit and study seriously. And they made it a habit. And every day they studied 2 hours. They did not have to study extra during the exam. Just this discipline. And they used to sleep early, get up early. 2 things. So they were pretty disciplined. And just by this discipline, they were always top. Because they inculcated this discipline. They took it very seriously. He trained them that way. So this is one type of yoga. They were not doing asana, pranayama or anything. But just by disciplining, just by following one particular schedule. If you read the 7 habits of great people in that book, very simple things but done consistently. For example, we have Lady Gaga, right? Very famous singer. Now she attributes, whatever she is, she's very famous. Now she attributes her success to her mom. And she says, her mom used to kind of lock her up 2 hours a day for the piano lessons. 2 hours, you are going to practice your piano, that's it. You are not doing anything else. And she practiced every day like that. And finally she is where she is now. She thanks her mom. He said, if left to me, I would never have practiced. And without practice, she wouldn't have reached anywhere. Right? So the power of habits, the power of practice, this is yoga. This is the beginning. Yoga means we can give you practices, but if we do not practice it consistently, there is no use. For example, if you eat once a week, will you do that? No, right? We cannot. We cannot sustain. We have to eat every day. Right? So similarly, something has effect only when we practice it every day consistently. Then it gives you tremendous results. So the yoga is anushasana. Anu means, if you see, follow. So we have to follow a teacher. There are great examples to follow. Right? For example, Arjun, if you see, he used to practice at night and day, every time. That was his life and soul. Every time he used to practice and he became successful, right? How disciplined. So if we inculcate this discipline in our practice, for example, what happens is now in India, especially with this cricket and IPL, right? And that is during the exam season. So many parents are complaining what? Students are just watching IPL and they are not studying for their exams. So what is happening? There is a breach of discipline. Mind is going somewhere. Instead of studying, you are tensed about something else. So the priorities. So this is where intelligence comes into the picture. Is this important for me? So by discipline, you are able to focus the mind and then understand the importance. Is this important, urgent and important for me? Yes. My exams are more important? Yes. Can I dump sports? Yes. Right? But if your intelligence is not sharp, let me watch some sports. Night I will study. Now let me watch. Right? So in this way, we are not able to direct the mind, energize the mind. Right? So, the true meaning of the word yoga, ultimately by discipline, by success and everything, we are able to attain the ultimate happiness. That is to connect ourselves with God. This gives us the greatest peace and greatest happiness. And this gives us a lot of money too. I'm serious. Because when somebody has good habits, when somebody has good focus, he will naturally be successful in life. So how to practice? So this is very important. One should purify oneself by proper principles, activity and food. So there is one shloka in Bhagavad Gita which I would like everyone to repeat. Like here I am speaking, you are all silent. So I want you to repeat this shloka and remember this when you go back. This is a very important management principle. Okay? It's not there on the board, that's fine. I'll repeat word by word. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshta karmasu yukta swapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So the first principle, if you follow a disciplined life, what is the first benefit? Dukkhaha. The basic miseries are gone. What is the basic miseries? Health problems, unnecessary expenditure, unable to focus, all these things. By discipline, dukkha is gone. So what are they? What is the discipline? Yukta ahara. Eat the right things, eat at the right time. Right? Eat the right things, eat at the right time. If you eat a good dinner at midnight, is it helpful? No, it is contrary. Next morning you are like a tiffin box, right? Carrying your food as it is. So if you eat right at the right time, it will also digest at the right time. By the way, do you know how long does it take to digest the food once you eat it? Till it passes your canal and comes out?
4 a day.
5 hours?
Total.
No, a day or so.
It's 16 hours. It's in between 4 and 24. It's 16 hours. So 4 hours for it to digest and enter your large intestine. 27 feet. So if you eat your major meal by 3 p.m., then the next morning when you wake up, it's cleared up. Otherwise we have to go at odd times. Right? Otherwise, even if people have constipation, even you don't eat properly, see that can lead to severe other problems. Because sometimes you are in office or in college and you don't like to go, right? So eating at the right time, for example, can help tremendously. Viharasya, going, yukta vihara, going to the right place. If you are already disturbed and you go to a disco, you will be more disturbed. Right? If you are disturbed, where do you go? You go to a peaceful place like a temple or a meditation hall. Speak to the right person. Yukta chestasya karmasu. Karma, also do the right kind of job. Yukta swapna avabodhasya, sleep and get up at the right time. yogo bhavati dukkha. You will see by regulated discipline, you will be dukkha. Your dukkha will be reduced. So, I will talk about the 8 disciplines of Ashtanga Yoga. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, everyone is still with me?
Yeah.
They are doing good?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. So anytime anybody has some questions, please feel free to ask, or if you want to explain some other point. So I will definitely would like to do that. So these are principles of freedom. These are called regulative principles of freedom, by which we can have a free mind. So what are they? First is ahimsa. Right? We have heard about this. The Buddhists, they shave their head and they try to practice ahimsa, right? What is ahimsa? Let's be interactive. Anybody?
Non-violence.
Non-violence. Okay, so what do you attribute non-violence to?
Do not harm anyone.
Do not harm anyone, right? We do it every day. We harm everybody. Right? We harm our parents. Huh? So, but what do you mean by do not harm anyone?
Physically as well as
Physically.
thought, and also by thought.
Also by thought. Yes, exactly.
By speaking also.
By speaking. So ahimsa also deals with the physical, mental, intellectual way in which we harm others. But a very beautiful definition is given in the Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. He says ahimsa. Hinsa means to live a materialistic life without caring for spiritual principles. Ahimsa means to lead a spiritually centered life. That is ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharmo, the greatest dharma. Ahimsa also means no meat eating. One of the biggest cause of stress is eating meat. Because when you kill an animal, suppose somebody comes to hit you, how is your physical state? You are scared, isn't it? You are scared, there is convulsions in the stomach. It happens to you, right? Somebody comes to hit you. So similarly, when you are killing an animal, what happens to that animal? Stress hormones are released. And so much poison, so much of frustration, anger is released within that animal. Imagine you cook that and eat it. You are ingesting all these stress hormones. Plus whatever is used, for example, there are nitrites that are added to meat, in America especially. Not the fresh meat, but the preserved meat and what is sold everywhere. To keep it fresh, they add these nitrates. These are carcinogens. And 40% Americans die of cancer. Most of them are addicted to this kind of meat eating, these nitrites, which causes especially colon cancer. So if we follow this principle of ahimsa and try to, as much as possible, eat vegetarian food, this can give us a lot of freedom, a lot of mental health. Because when the animals are disturbed, you are eating that, you are also getting that same disturbance. You will not know. Now, if I follow ahimsa, the Yoga Sutra state, what is the benefit of following ahimsa? Ahimsa pratisthayam tatsanido vairatyagaha. Everyone around you becomes friendly to you. Isn't that good? Or is it bad? It is good, right? So if Indians really practice ahimsa, then Pakistanis will become their friends. I am serious. When Madhvacharya, the great Acharya from South India, he was walking across a river. At that time, this Muslim king on that other side, he had decided to kill every Hindu. And when he saw Madhvacharya though, he came out of his camp, he was right at the river. And he saw this effulgent Madhvacharya coming with his disciples on a boat. He said, don't you know? We are killing every Hindu who crosses this river. And Madhvacharya says, sir, nor am I a Hindu, nor are you a Muslim. We are all spirit souls and we are all sons of the same God. It's just a physical designation. So when he explains this science further, the Muslim king is moved and he says, okay, I will let you go. And not only that, he sends his soldiers to accompany him till the border, so that nobody harms them. So this is the result of ahimsa. So the first principle to follow in yoga to lead a stress-free and a spiritual life is ahimsa. So it's very, very important. Second is satya. Satya means, what does satya mean? Not the movie. But what is satya? Truthfulness. Right? Truthfulness. So, what is the benefit of telling the truth, which is hardly told today? Right? All this advertisement is all false. But it is said, if one becomes truthful in one's dealings, satya pratisthayam kriya phala shreyatvam. If you make it a habit to speak the truth, kriya phala shreyatvam, whatever you speak will happen. Whatever you speak will come into being. So that is the power of telling the truth. And satyam bruyat priyam bruyat. You should know how to speak the truth. That is also an art. So the third is asteya. Asteya means non-stealing. Steya means to steal. Asteya means not to steal. Right? Even children have this habit of stealing from parents' pockets. Right? Isn't it true? Right? And everybody, all of us, do some stealing here and there. From the company, from this, from that. It's always there, little bit stealing. But if we stop this and we become satisfied with what we have, asteya pratisthayam sarvaratnopasthanam. It is said, money will come looking for you if you practice non-stealing. So look at the benefits of actually practicing the principles of yoga. Then it states aparigraha. Okay, this is something very, very important. Aparigraha means, parigraha means I want what others have. It is very common, right? My neighbor has a Mercedes. Right? So what do you want? Something better or at least the same one, isn't it? So envy. What was that Onida ad? Neighbors envy, owner's pride, right? So the whole world is living on such envy. Something that others have, even I want. And this gives one of the greatest pains, greatest suffering. अरे उसने वो गाड़ी खरीद ली, उसने ये घर खरीद लिया, उसने, somebody has done something. And we suffer for it. Why? We want it. Aparigraha. It is said, this enviousness, we lose track of our spiritual conduct. Once this madness is in our head that we want that, somebody runs after it so much that he loses spiritually where he is going, because his only check and balance is, have I achieved this material thing? That's all. So aparigraha thairye janma kathanta sambodha. If you discipline this desire, then your life, your spiritual life is revealed to you. So spiritual life is giving up of enviousness, to be friendly towards everyone. And last is brahmacharya, celibacy. Nowadays, the internet, 70% of internet is all dirty stuff, right? TV, most of it is again, right? So brahmacharya is a mental aspect. It's very difficult. But if we do not follow brahmacharya, we lose, what do we lose? Physical strength. We see today, divorce rates are very high, isn't it? Why are divorce rates very high? But they are high. Everybody agrees that point, right? They are high. Even among, I was shocked to see, even among the Indian community, this is becoming like a trend, isn't it? We are seeing that. So many divorces. Because if the life is simply based on physical attraction, then it doesn't last long. Physical attraction should be there. Of course, to marry you need to have some physical attraction, that is there. But that is, if that is the only cause, then I love you, what do you say? Love at first sight and divorce at first fight, right? Yeah? So that is the case today. So, there are some principles. So, if we understand actually the principles of yoga, then everything that you do, every relationship that you build, if it is based on these principles, then it lasts longer. But sadly, today's media is pounding so much. I love you, this, that. All Hindi movies are the same thing. Right? The hero is paid to dance, the heroine is paid to dance on some song, right? And even they are paid. After the dance, they smoke, they drink and they go away. But people see this and they become happy. They pay for it. Somebody is dancing and you become happy. What is the point? Right? Somebody is paid for it. He is a smoker, he is a drunkard, he is a characterless person. He has had 2 marriages. He is not sincere to his wife. Seeing such a person, the whole family is happy. So what is this? So this is called as illusion, Maya. And we are suffering because of this. This is one of the biggest suffering. For example, I was telling today morning in Bhagavatam class, it's very famous, like very famous to have Antakshari, isn't it? Everybody has Antakshari during. But you know the origin of Antakshari? I once went to a Gurukul and there were 200 students and they were having Antakshari. I was seeing what is this Antakshari these Gurukul students are doing. They would chant one shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Bhagavatam, from the Vedas, and when the last letter, they would chant another shloka. Look at the Antakshari. But now it's become like film songs. Right? So it's become just enjoyment. So this brahmacharya, brahmani charati iti brahmacharya, one who has his goal fixed on Brahman, on God, on peace, on happiness. So sadly, these principles of yoga are not being followed. And hence, it leads to suffering. Next we see what should be done. These are the things so far that we saw, what should not be done. Now we will see what should be done. First is shaucha, cleanliness. Have you heard this? Cleanliness is next to godliness. Let me tell you frankly, always try to wear fresh clothes, especially for students. You know why? Because when you wear the old clothes, which are not washed, they give out so much negative energy, and it is said in dirty clothes, ghosts reside. That is true. That's why when you wear these dirty clothes and everything, you attract so much of negative energy. When you wear fresh clothes, don't you feel fresh? Don't you feel good? Isn't it? And when you wear these old clothes, same thing. I have seen students wearing the same pant for a month, right? And in our college we used to, in a sense, they would recycle. They would hang this pant and wear the other one. So there were 3 or 4 pants and they would recycle this. So students, basically, all hostels, student rooms, they are very dirty. And that creates a very negative energy. Concentration of mind isn't there. When you keep something clean, when you keep something in the nicely adjusted, nicely set up, it makes your mind focused on study. So cleanliness is one of the most important things that you need to keep. Second is santosha. If we become too depressed with what we do not have, we will not be able to take the next step of what we want to do with life. So santosha means to be satisfied with what you have and then systematically strive to achieve what you really want to achieve. Isn't it? So that's a very nice principle. Then the third is swadhyaya. Every day, try to read some spiritual books for half an hour. Try to do it. That brings your focus back. Right? Every day. if not half an hour, at least for 15 minutes. Read one shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Read one page from some spiritual book. Try to read something. And the last is Ishvara Pranidhana. This is one of the best ways to actually gain relief, to gain happiness. Ishvara Pranidhana means to surrender unto God. How do you surrender? By doing the previous ones, by reading about Him, by coming to satsangs like this, hearing some bhajans. So these things help a lot. So I'll tell you, most of the diseases that we face today, most of the health problems, let's list a few and I will give you very simple solutions. Okay? So let's start with something. Anybody would like to? Some common health problem of today.
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Stress. Okay?
Diabetes.
Okay?
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure. Okay. Pressure is already there. Higher blood pressure. Okay? Anything else?
Weight
Huh?
gain.
Weight gain, obesity, right? This is the common American problem. Obesity. Children are obese, right? So, yoga jots down these problems because of two reasons. Okay? They are, if you analyze it properly, improper digestion and improper excretion. All the diseases are a result of that. When you eat food, the Ayurvedic explanation is like this. When you eat food, what happens to that food? The food is converted into rasa, digested food. First it gets digested with saliva. Then it is converted into rakta, blood. Blood is the first stage of digestion. Blood is digested in your body, it becomes mamsa. Mamsa is muscles, flesh. Flesh is digested in your body, it becomes medas or fat. Fat is digested in your body and it becomes bones, asti. Bones are digested in your body, they become bone marrow. When bone marrow is further digested, it becomes semen or ojas shakti, whatever you use it for. So if you follow brahmacharya, it becomes ojas shakti. Or if you want to enjoy, that energy is lost. So this digestion process that is there, it requires 7 agnis, 7 fires. Food is digested into blood, then muscles, then bones, then fat, all these different things. When these agnis become weak, when we are stressed or when we do not follow regulative principles, then because of improper digestion and improper excretion, the result is all these diseases. If we are energetic, we can accomplish any task. If we have energy, right? But how many of you face lack of energy? I'm sure most of you, isn't it? Or many of you, isn't it? It's a common thing. You feel so tired because the digestion is not taking place properly. The excretion is also not taking place properly. So this is the basis for all health problems. So basically, I will go into these details. So the first is, if you have regular kriyas, like one of the reasons for stress, one of the best reasons for stress, biggest reasons that I found, tomato skin. Right? Tomato skin doesn't digest. Just an example. There are many things like that. But tomato skin, for an example, it doesn't digest. It's like plastic. It's like plastic. It doesn't digest at all. It doesn't break down anything. It comes out as it is, without digestion. I found this out when we had a very big feast in our temple, and 2 days later in our college, when I was doing my masters in yoga, we had to do this kriya where you drink salt water continuously and then you tickle your throat and vomit it out. I was thinking, wow, to vomit it? Okay. But then when I vomited it out, all that was there, oil, I don't know, safola oil, whatever it was. And then this tomato skin, all this came out. It was there since 2 days. I remembered, I ate this 2 days ago. It is still there. Oil requires almost 300 degrees Fahrenheit to digest in your stomach. How many of you use oil? Most of you use oil, right? Right? And when you eat fried items, this is what it is. What you call cholesterol is this. Why do they call it refined oil? Because it is an industrial waste which stinks so bad. All this canola oil, mixed vegetable oil, safflower oil. So, because it stinks so bad, to make it smell good, they refine it. And they call it refined oil. So people think, oh, it's refined oil. Right? But it is making the biggest fool out of you. This is how the medical industry thrives, by giving you this oil. Oil is for external consumption, not for internal consumption. The internal consumption, in Hindi, what do you call oil?
Tel.
Tel, right? You know how the word tel comes from? From where does it come from? Til. Tilasya iti tailaha. From til. So what comes from til is actual oil. The other things, kacha tel, pakka tel, everything else is like tel you take out of it. But actually what comes from til is actual tel. Til and coconut are the two best oils that can be used for internal consumption. Otherwise nothing else. The last you can use is mustard oil. But this safflower oil, canola oil, refined oil, these are all cancerous carcinogens, industrial wastes. It seems, oh, we didn't know this, but that is true. It doesn't digest at all. So this is,
How do people that in the past time, 100 years back or 200 years back, what kind of food they eat? Without oil? Ghee.
Ghee, exactly. In India there was nothing called oil, seriously. People had cows. In India every household had cows. Everybody got fresh milk and fresh ghee. Ghee ka tadka marke, butter, ghee. Right? And used to be healthy, very strong. If you see, Maharana Pratap, right? It's about 100, 120 years ago, Maharana Pratap. You know how much his sword weighs? Maharana Pratap's sword weighs 95 kilos. Almost 95 kilos, his sword. To lift that, how strong and huge he must be. So if you see, progressively our height, weight and strength has reduced. Right? Because of the food that we eat. So people used to eat fresh food. Even the gehu and all this, they used to get fresh, make flour and then make chapati. Now we keep it, once you make something into powder and you keep it for more than actually a day, it loses its energy. But the sad situation is now you get flour, right? Ready-made, which is there for months. So this is the situation. So therefore, fresh food increases your energy. Ghee and butter are considered the best foods. So actually when Prabhupada came to America, he saw that this culture of this canola oil and everything, he introduced ghee in all ISKCON temples. For example, we have this, okay, it's there, I'll show you later. We have New Vrindavan ghee. So in the temple, all the preparations for the deity are made with ghee. Ghee, contrary to what people say, does not produce cholesterol. Ghee actually does not produce cholesterol. Oil produces cholesterol. So if you want to give up on something, please give up this refined oil, safflower oil, this oil, that oil. All these oils.
But Panditji, you can find this cholesterol-free oil now.
Pardon me?
You can't find in the market.
No, but in general, what I am saying, oil is very bad for health.
And you're talking about ghee. Ghee is a hydrogenated
See,
oil, right?
they can come up with these chemical combinations. Okay, I am not basing on that. But if you generally see the history of Shivaji, Shivaji was one of the greatest warriors. He had very few warriors, but they were very strong. He wrote in his books and everything, he used to carry fresh ghee for eating and old ghee for wounds. He used to always keep that. He said the strength of a warrior is in how much ghee he can eat.
So the ghee you're talking about is pure ghee.
Pure ghee.
Pure ghee. Okay.
What is happening nowadays is that 90% of ghee in India is dalda. It's not ghee.
It's a vegetable.
That's the problem. But real ghee, like we purchase from the ISKCON temple in Chowpatty, there was a person called Maheshwari, A.K. Maheshwari. He gave a talk on health. And he explained what is real ghee. It takes 30 liters of curd. So there are two types of ghee, one with butter and one with curd. He said the one with curd is much better. 30 liters of curd, they make 1 liter of ghee. It's sold at 800 rupees. It is so powerful, so healthy. We get it from there. Anyone who is coming from India, from Bombay, we just call them. It is so healthy. It's very different. And previously, even pregnant women, they used to have like Norman ghee. And they were so strong. There was no question of weakness. And there was no question of oil. And he explained, just with milk and butter and ghee, properly taken, when properly taken, I'll give you, for example, a simple solution. How many of you have joint pains in your body? I'll give you a very easy solution for joint pains. How many are? Okay, people don't want to reveal. That's why most of you have joint pains. I'll give you one simple formula how by drinking milk you can overcome joint pains. Take fresh organic milk, not the regular milk, organic milk, take a glass of it, add 1 spoon good ghee, like you get Nivrindavan ghee or whatever, good ghee, or make your own ghee with butter on a slow cooker, okay? You mix it and then take an empty glass, a full glass of milk and mix it nicely. Like you make chai, right? So mix it nicely. After you mix, once in the morning, once in the evening, after you mix, stand up and drink this milk little by little, hot milk. It should be hot like this. With this technique, doctor said, "Ye kya hai?" This measure. "Ye kya hai? Isse thoda hi hota hai." Said he tried it out on so many people. Not only that, I tried it out in my temple with so many devotees, and they say it worked. You do this for about a month and a half, that's it, your joint pains are gone. Then you can continue every day. It prevents. Just this simple thing is so powerful. Now for joint pains, what do? We take over the counter or off the counter something, equate joint pains, pain relief, which complicates it further. Here I am telling you, just drink milk, which is an easier solution. Isn't it? So the lifestyle of yoga, when centered around milk, ghee and such simple organic foods, food is aushadha, food is medicine, food is life. By eating proper food, one can treat all diseases. Because Anna is Brahma, actually Vishnu. And when you treat him with respect, he can cure anything. And so you can try it out. Just this simple formula with this milk, and you can let me know, how beneficial it is, right? So, okay, before that, this one simple process that I was trying to tell you, if you suffer too much from indigestion, those who have a problem with big belly, right, all this are there, or you have a continuous gas problem and things like that, this kriya, right, where we are showing this one especially, you drink, say for 1 glass, you put half a spoon of salt, good water, you put half a spoon of salt and you drink 8 glasses, 6 glasses of, then you will get a vomiting sensation. So continuously tickling your throat, you throw out this water, all the waste from the stomach, oils, tomato skin, everything, paneer, whatever, pakoda. For example, when you eat pakoda, How many of you eat pakoda? Everyone eats pakoda, right? In pakoda, there's some part of the pakoda becomes black, right? Isn't it? That never digests. You know why? Because it cannot be broken down. Food that can be broken down, digestible, right? It can be digested. But what is burnt already, how can it break down? It remains as it is. So these particles are all over your stomach, intestines, everything. So when you vomit it out, all these are thrown out. My wife used to tell me always, oh, you vomit, every once a week, it's so horrible. But then she had this stomach problem, then we tried it out. Then she said, it's so easy. You don't need to go to doctor. All you need is salt water.
So you do that in the morning, after number
Morning, before food.
after number 2.
Huh?
After number 2.
Yeah, you can do it, yeah. That's true. So after that, once you clean up, make sure that, all the technique is like this. Once you vomit, then you keep tickling your throat and it keeps coming out continuously. It's just like gajakarani, like an elephant's trunk. It takes out water and it throws out. But the feeling after that, you feel so light. Like basically when you have...
Oh, so if you had the black part, can it come out naturally or do you have to throw that off? Does that stay in?
Depends on your digestive system. If your digestive system
Can it
is...
naturally go out or do you actually have to take all the...
Sometimes it doesn't come out. That's what you waste. It sits in your intestine for a long time. Like there is another kriya where you drink salt water, 2 glasses, and you do a set of 5 asanas. That is called as Shanka Prakshalana. Shanka Prakshalana means this conch, Shanka. You see, you put water at one end, other end water comes out. So similarly, you do drink water and you do these asanas. Then water flows into your intestine and it clears your belly. First solid comes out and then only water. And you go to... So this, I'll come to you. So this dissolves everything in your intestines if it's been sitting there. Intestines, it usually sticks on the surface once it becomes hard, right? So sometimes to do this once in a while is good, because if it's been sitting there, it removes it, right? Yes.
It should be warm water.
Lukewarm, which should be easily drinkable, right? So this is called Dhauti, and next is called Shanka Prakshalana. So these two clear from the upper side and lower side, and this can help anyone, whatever age you are. Children should be about 12 years, not very young. So about 12 years you can do it, and adults can be of any age. It doesn't matter. So this salt water, simple salt water, is such a powerful beneficiary. Just by doing this once a week, this vomiting, it also throws out excess cough. Anybody who has a sinus problem, headaches due to cough, sinus headaches, all this will be taken care. It is so powerful. Right? So this kriya. So the next is, the kriyas are dhauti, neti. Neti means you have that neti pot you can get it in Kroger or Walmart or wherever. You can, from water from one end and it cleans the sinuses. Breathing is very important. So neti. Then there is one called trataka. Trataka means you can sit like this, like we are sitting in this position, and at one hand distance you can keep a diya, lamp. Don't keep a candle, keep a ghee lamp, so that you can concentrate on that flame. And as you concentrate without blinking, from your eyes it waters. Now it clears off any stress. I have seen many people taking glasses just because their vision becomes blurry. The easiest way before you go to a doctor is to few days you try this out and it clears. It is mainly because of stress. It clears out and you are able to see very clearly. So these are some of the things which anybody can do. It can help students, it can help old people, it can help anyone. Right? So what is asana? Then a daily practice of a few asanas is very, very beneficial. If you can practice, say, 10 minutes every day or 5 minutes, even a few Surya Namaskars, it is very, very beneficial. If you can do, what is the benefit of asana? What is the definition of asana? Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Sthira, a stable body. Sthira Sukha, peaceful body, happy. A body that gives you sukh. Now body gives you sukh or dukh? Both. Right? But when the body is diseased, it gives dukh, isn't it? But we want sukh. So to have a healthy, steady, peaceful body, asana is helpful, kriya, all these things one should do. And one gains physical strength by the practice of asanas. You can get a very steady. By yoga, you might not gain muscles. I'm sorry, you cannot gain gym muscles. But you will remain lean, fit and strong, which is very important. Right? So, Dvandva Anabhigata. It is said there is a lot of mind-body coordination which improves by the practice of asanas. Good. So, among the asanas, there are asanas for strength and asanas for meditation. So, the 5-minute practice of the strength asanas, especially Surya Namaskar and Dhyan, the meditation, Siddhasana. For example, we can practice it right now. What is the essential principle in Dhyan? Your back should be straight. That means you are attentive. So, back, sitting with back straight, right? So, what you do is, the sitting position, it goes like this. So, the left foot is inside and the right comes in between. So, it comes in between this thigh and this thigh, like this. And you are able to sit straight, if you see. So, this is called as Sukhasana, or it is also called as Swastikasana. So, this position, very simple. And the next also, Padmasana. There are some sitting asanas, which if you can practice, even sitting few minutes every day, it can help you. Before we go on to the next section, I want to do a small exercise. We will do a little physical part. Take out 2 fingers, keep it below your nostrils, okay, and breathe out. Right? Are they both equal?
No.
Right? How about everyone else? Is it the same?
No.
No. It's not the same. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? It's not the same. Every 4 hours, your right and left nostrils alternate. Every 3 to 4 hours. Right? The right nostril, when it's active, your body heats up because it is called as Surya Nadi. The left nostril, when it's active, means it's a time to take rest. Body is relaxing. So, which nostril is more active now?
Right, sir.
Right side. You are ready for dinner. So, in the morning when you get up, especially, the left nostril is usually active because when you sleep at nights, left nostril is active. When you wake up in the morning, after half an hour, if you are still your left nostril is active, that means you have not had enough sleep. The body is still trying to relax. So the 2 types of pranayams to control the body temperature are Surya Bhedan and Chandra Bhedan, if you know the principle. So if I close my left nostril and only breathe in and out of my right nostril, what will happen to my body temperature?
Go up.
It will go up. Because Surya Bhedana, the right nostril increases body temperature. And if I close my right nostril and only breathe through the left nostril, body temperature will go down. So, right? But when I breathe equally from both sides with this pranayama, that what does it do? It tries to balance for meditation.
So if I couldn't sleep, just close this right nostril.
If you cannot sleep, one of the best ways to sleep, of course, it is said one should also practice shavasana, deep breathing. I'll tell you this technique right now. So the basic breathing in yoga, what we practice is called as Ujjayi Pranayama. Utjayate means victorious breath. Before sleeping, you can sit in this straight position and you can try for about 10 minutes doing this deep breathing. You will see it relaxes a lot. So you have to breathe making a sound with your throat. So it goes like this. This is also called as tunnel breathing.
Somebody's sleeping.
So if you see, your breath becomes deeper and your breath becomes more relaxing. So can we try this out? Just close your eyes, just straighten your back, and for the next 2 to 3 minutes, don't make a wheezing sound, but just make a breathing sound. Right? Can you try? Just try it out. Right? So, if you see, it's very deep and it's very relaxing. So, you can try this out before you sleep. You can do this even after having dinner. You can sit down and you can do some deep breathing, relax yourself, and you can see it relaxes you so much you can also get good sleep. So, this breathing can be done even if you are walking, even if you are sitting down in your office, anytime. So this is called as Ujjayi breathing. This is the basic breathing which improves the digestive capacity and the breathing capacity in your body. Okay?
Question. When we have fever, to reduce the temperature, can we close?
You can definitely try that.
Okay.
Put the heat down.
Is this Bhastrika?
No, Bhastrika is, we do heavy breaths. But Bhastrika is not recommended until you do Surya Namaskar for at least 6 months. Although they show in TV. But the proper thing is your chest should be very strong to do heavy breathing out. So I am teaching you mild techniques which are very easy to do, which have no side effects. So the difference between asanas when we do, and some people prefer exercise, is that in asana we have elastic stretching. So when we do deep breathing and when we do physical postures, there is a mind-body coordination, and that is elastic stretching. And by asana you also get psychological purification. Psychosomatic diseases are prevented, especially asthma, headaches, migraines. These are all reduced if we practice the asanas nicely. Right? So it purifies the vayu, and it is said tatakshiyate prakasha avranam. The mind becomes very light, means by proper practice of pranayama, this deep breathing, alternate nostril breathing, these 2 types of breathing, it improves your level of concentration. It improves a lot. Pranayama, it increases the life energy, it increases the life force. So that is very, very important. It improves breathing, gives relaxation, and improves mind control as well. Now, also there are some bandha, right? For example, when you sit like this, one bandha that you can try out very easily is contracting your lower abdomen. When you sit and you contract your lower abdomen, you can see you can sit more straight. Like the lower abdomen is where the diseases lie. The bigger your lower abdomen means yeah, so it's not a sign of prosperity, I'm sorry. So the lower abdomen should be as much inside or contracted. So when you sit on your empty stomach to do deep breathing, your lower abdomen should be contracted, so that it improves the level of concentration. So when you sit down to study, or when you do pranayama and everything, sit a proper posture, sit in a proper posture, and also try to, relax a little bit, focus on deep breathing. Then you see your level of concentration is very, very high. Okay? Yeah. Okay, this next one. Now, mudras, for example, let's try this one. Very simple one. When we sit down like this is called as Jnana Mudra. Now, how this works is you just touch the forefinger and the thumb at the tips. Now don't press, just give it a touch. If you just touch it without pressing, you should be able to feel your pulse. Don't press it, just give it a touch. You are able to? How many are able to? 1, 2, 3, 4. You are able to feel your pulse. So when you keep it like that, just touched and sit properly. So position, then this mudra, and this one. When you sit straight and you do deep breathing, then your level of concentration improves like anything. So if you are able to just touch this, so these mudras, these subtle things improve your concentration a lot, help you a lot. So you can try this out, right? So when you do yoga systematically, not just we just do it, but when you do it systematically like this, but regularly, consistently, like we do 10 minutes, fine, 10 minutes every day, same time, then you see wonderful results. That way. And pranayama helps you gain control of the mind, right? How is that? For example, when you are angry, how is your breathing? Very fast. Right? When you are angry, your breathing is very fast. And when you are relaxed, how is your breathing? Slow. So the state of mind and your breathing correspond. So the yoga uses this principle that if you are feeling angry or something, breathing rate is very fast, you slow down your breathing rate. You try to relax your breathing. But if you do it regularly, when it is a practice, you can easily apply it when you are losing your mind, as you say. So, but you should practice it every day to actually be able to do it. Otherwise, you cannot. So, this breathing rate, when controlled, it gives you a lot of hold over the mind. Okay. So, similarly, the next steps in Ashtanga Yoga are pratyahara. It says to control the senses and withdraw it from sense objects. Now, this is a little tough. Rather, what we can do is, instead of trying to withdraw from senses, we can use the senses for purification. For example, you want to listen to some nice music, right? So what do you listen to? Let's try to listen to something like sitar or a flute or some bhajans. That is soothing for the mind, right? So instead of trying to stop your senses, you use your senses with something that is relaxing, something that is soothing. Now this is especially also applicable to the students. If they listen to some head-banging music, right, can you study at that time? No, you are doing this. No. But if you are listening to some soothing music, say you are studying, and it helps you a lot. Right? So your focus is there. So these little things, when we try to apply, we make the right preparation. So instead of sitting with TV and other things, you make your room nice, clean, make it disciplined, sit down and listen to some soothing music. So it makes a lot of difference. So that is the practice of yoga. Okay. Now, dharana and dhyana. So these are, dharana means you are trying to meditate. This is some higher level of meditation, higher stages of meditation, but just giving you an introduction. So this is, who is this guy? Anybody can identify? This is George Harrison. He was Hare Krishna. So he is sitting down with a japa bag and he's trying to chant Hare Krishna. So this George Harrison, he is sitting in one of the Padmasana, some posture, and he's trying to chant Hare Krishna. So this is what you call dhyan, dharan and dhyan, where you are trying to meditate on one object and trying to purify the mind. So we can try that for a few minutes, maybe at the end. So this chanting, this japa, when you hear, the mind is like a, like a liquid. It's like a very, a liquid which moves very fast. When you hear some news, hear something, it has a very big effect on the mind. For example, when stock markets crash, somebody has invested $2 million and the stock market crashed. When he hears the news, what happens to him? There is a heart attack, right? Isn't it? So there is a corresponding effect. So man means the heart. But when you hear, there was a Japanese scientist who made a research, water crystals. So he took 2 glasses of water, okay? In 1 glass of water, he chanted some nice soothing music and nice words. The crystals formed some very nice shapes. I could have got those pictures, but anyways. But then on the other glass, what he did, he used abusive words, very bad words and with bad feelings. And the water in the glass took a very bad shape. The crystals were very irregularly shaped. So what does it mean? So when you are happy, when you are peaceful, the crystals, the blood, the liquid in your body, that takes these nice shapes, nice forms. Your mind is peaceful when you hear nice things. But when you hear these abusive things, it also, your body, it has the similar effect. Because most of your body is liquid, right? So hearing mantras, manana trayate iti mantra, that which cures the mind, that which purifies the mind, this mantra is very, very important in our daily practice. A little bit of dhyan, a little bit of worship of, we do all this little. Every day, consistently, you will feel wonderful effects.
Prabhuji, one question. Once you get up in the morning, what if you feel a little bit, your left nostril is heavy? Do you go back to sleep or do you try to contemplate with the right nostril breathing?
See, basically, if you have time, you can still sleep. So if you do not, see, the basic thing is, night, don't eat heavy food. That's when most of these imbalances happen. So now it's already that's still fine. Once a week, once in a while, okay. But on a regular basis, try to eat early and sleep well. So when you sleep well, even if little bit you feel drowsiness, but then you'll begin to gain energy. The main thing is this 2 nostril breathing that we practice. This deep breathing, relaxing, that's very, very important. So once you do that, it is also said, as soon as you wake up, the first effect should be there for the mind. You should see a picture of God and just chant a little bit, and then freshen up yourself. As you clean up yourself, first brush. It is said first should be brushing. Mouth is dirtier than the anus. Have you heard this? That is true. If you put a finger in your mouth, it stings more, right? So mouth is dirtier than the anus. That is why in Vedic system we did not have kissing that much. So it is very dirty. The mouth is very dirty. So the mouth should be cleaned first. You should gargle in the morning. You should gargle or wash your mouth with water, like take out water and throw it out at least 20 times. Because mouth is so dirty. And then you should scrub your tongue nicely. Because when you slowly massage your tongue, all the cough and everything accumulated here, the sinuses, they come out, they clean out. So after that, naturally by brushing nicely, you get motions, so clear off, and then take bath immediately. So by doing after that, then you check, once you have cleared up yourself, once you have taken bath, then you check if you still need some rest. If you still need some rest, one should do some quick shavasana and relax oneself, or yoga nidra. We have a 15-minute yoga nidra, which I usually practice when I am tired, and that freshens you up. And then one should be ready. So that's all. So asana, after taking bath, one should practice also asanas and everything, so especially Surya Namaskar.
Could you tell high blood pressure breathing techniques so I can...
See, Ujjayi is the breathing technique, the basic breathing which helps. It's like a panacea.
Okay.
Right? So that's the main thing. And especially also, you can lie down and then focus on this deep breathing, making a sound. It helps a lot. The second breathing that helps also is this alternate nostril breathing. Like your hand, you take out the forefinger and middle finger, and you hold this, and you can close your, say, with the thumb right nostril, and start with the left nostril. Breathe in. Okay, then close this, exhale with the right. Right, now inhale with the right, close the right, exhale with the left. So this is one side. Every time you inhale from the left, so this alternate nostril breathing balances and relaxes. Right? Don't hold your breath. There is no question of holding. Some people practice holding breath. Holding is done only when you can do bandha, like contracting the belly, contracting the perineal muscles. So don't hold. Just breathe in deeply, slowly, and then breathe out.
So I was always taught when you do this to hold it in between. So why shouldn't you hold it in between?
When you hold your breath, air creates a heavy pressure downward, right? If you do not have your lower abdomen completely in, lower abdomen, contracts it, or the anal muscles contracted, it can cause lower, push. For example, I saw somebody doing this Ramdev Baba's heavy, this kind of pranayam that he does. He got a tear in the stomach. What do you call that? Hernia or something like that. A tear in the stomach. So similarly, when you hold the breath without contracting your lower abdomen, it causes a downward pressure. So to do that, one should practice Surya Namaskar for at least, as I said, 6 months. Then your upper body, especially your stomach has very strong, it's very strong. And when it is strong, only then you will be able to, do this holding the breath kind of exercise. Is that okay? Like that. So, main thing is consistency, and the ultimate stage of samadhi yoga is when your mind is completely absorbed in the Supreme. That is when you feel the highest joy. Now this stage is obtained usually at the end, but one can transcend the other stages and directly attain this stage by the practice of mantra. But in today's world, one should practice both side by side to have a combined good effect. One should also chant mantras every day that purify the mind, like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and the mantra that we chant usually is, I'd request we can chant this for 2 minutes together, we can have some nice vibrations. And when we chant these mantras, what is the meaning of the word mantra is Mananat Trayate iti mantraha, that which wins the mind, that which cures the mind. And the mind has diseases. What is that? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsar. So diseases of the mind. How do you cure that? By mantra. Because mantra is pure. It's the names of God. So when you chant this mantra, it purifies the mind, and then the body is an extension of the mind. Like most diseases are due to mental stress, mental pressures. Right? So I request everyone, you can sit straight, with your back straight. So, and we can, for the next 2 to 3 minutes, we can chant this mantra. Repeat after me. Keep your back straight. Close your eyes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, now let us chant together. Now you know the mantra. Okay? I will start. You can all join together. We can chant it 11 times together. Is that okay? All right.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So like this we can chant. First we can take some deep breaths and we can chant this mantra, at least 11 times, 51 times, whatever time you have, and you can see a very, very nice effect. So the mantra not just purifies your mind, but it has an added effect on the body. So that is why we put this tilak. Why do we put this tilak? This becomes the energy point. And when we chant this mantra, this is absorbed in these points and our body, mind, intellect, they are all energized. So, yoga, as you see now, is a complete lifestyle. So by practicing ahimsa, by practicing satya, by practicing asteya, all these different things, you gain a lot of good things. Added to that, when you practice asana pranayama, you get freedom from physical problems, mental problems, strong intellect. So it applies in every sphere of life. In every sphere of life. So no matter what your age is, no matter what your occupation is, no matter where you are, this will yield the same result. And I would also recommend that you read every day at least like one shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, one shloka from Bhagavad, just swadhyaya. Reading, because it makes your intellect think. So something that is used, that the intellect, when you use it, when you think about self, about Atma, these things, the intellect becomes very sharp, very strong. And by doing so, in the long run, you will get a lot of benefits. And you will come back with more questions and more things. Alright, so I will stop here. So any questions? Questions, comments, queries?
Prabhuji, you said like all the problems they are because of digestion and excretion is not proper, so all diseases are because of that. Can you give us some tips or some asanas to improve your digestion?
To improve your digestion, very good question. Okay. After eating food, the best asana to sit down is Vajrasana. So everybody knows Vajrasana? Everybody have heard about Vajrasana? Right? So you know Vajrasana. So you sit in Vajrasana and you do deep breathing. It benefits immensely. I told one guy, he used to eat in the office. And then he said on his chair he started doing Vajrasana. And he said it helps you a lot. He can feel a lot lighter. Because after eating food we usually sit like this. Right? The food doesn't go anywhere. So when you keep your back straight, when you sit in Vajrasana, it is especially meant to bring the foot down like this. In Vajrasana, you do deep breathing. So this is one of the tips of digesting. Second, when you are eating, it's fine to take a little bit of water, up to 1 glass. But immediately after eating food, don't drink water, at least for half an hour. Because if you drink water immediately after eating food, then the digestive acids become weaker. So then the digestion becomes slowed down, digestion slows down. So this is one way to. And after eating, at night, at least give a 1.5 hour gap before you sleep. 1 hour gap at least, because if you eat and immediately sleep, doesn't digest. Either you are sleeping or you are digesting.
And what about alcohol?
Doesn't digest.
I don't think,
Alcohol actually creates a lot of imbalance, and it actually directly kills the brain cells. Like what we did an experiment. One of my friends, Hare Krishna devotee, he was a psychiatrist, and we also did a research in a mental asylum, and there we found that those who are habituated to drinking alcohol or eating too much meat, they suffered with Parkinson's and dementia. Dementia was very common, loss of memory, because the brain cells are directly destroyed with alcohol. It's so bad. It kills your total thinking power. You can see after eating, after drinking, man cannot be sane, right?
No.
So it kind of makes your brain float in a bad liquid.
Yeah, you start seeing two wives.
Yeah, 2 wives. Which is good temporarily, but doesn't work in the long run. So, that way. So, it's never good. Alcohol and meat are destroyers of brain cells actually.
And how can it affect, how can it affect the digestion, the alcohol?
Alcohol.
Yeah,
Alcohol affects in negative way in one sense, because alcohol burns alcohol is like petrol.
Right.
It burns your stomach lining, which give out the digestive juices. So when it blocks their opening, then the food, usually alcohol people have a big belly, what they call beer belly or whatever. Right? So this beer belly, which is not a good sign. So it kind of creates a lot of stress. It burns it up and it blows it up. So food, it bloats your belly. Right?
You said in the beginning of the discussion, the right ahar, the right vihar, and the right job. So in our scriptures, what kind of jobs are considered the right jobs?
Okay, good question. So, Chanakya Pandit, I'll quote from this before we. Chanakya Pandit said, 2 people are very happy. One who does not have debt. In America, everybody has debt. And the second person who is happy, one does not have to travel far for work. Everybody travels far for work. So nobody is happy. So this basic principle is, job means it should be something which is conducive to your nature first. Which is something very easy for you, which you can do very easily. Second, it should be done within 5 to 6 hours. 8 hours, 9 hours, which people usually do, it's actually very stressful. Very stressful, it's very unhealthy. So something that you can easily finish in 5 to 6 hours, something that you can do easily. So such kind of jobs should be taken up. So nowadays it's all according to the market demand, so you cannot choose so perfectly, but from whatever is available, try to also see if this in the long run will affect your health. Like I saw my boss, I was working in Microsoft for some time, and she used to smoke and this and that and so much, 14-16 hours. She was pregnant and still she was in the hospital, in the office for such a long time. I was thinking, how will the baby be, with so much smoke and this and alcohol. So bad. So one should not take up where you get stressed out, where you lose your mind, but that's what usually happens. They take the maximum out of you. So simple jobs which can easily be sustained. So it depends on everybody's nature, what you are good at. So some people are good at business, some people are good at jobs. See what works best for you. Okay?
I have a question. Right now there are a lot of like low carbs diets that say you don't eat wheat, you don't eat rice, and they're actually not supposed to be good for you anymore. But Indian food is so carb heavy, there is nothing that you can cook without carbs, and especially if you're a vegetarian, then it's another level of it. So what do you suggest in that?
See, in America, there is this so much carbohydrate, protein, this, that, right? But in Indian food, whatever is our staple diet, it's actually very good for us, first thing. Second thing, what I came to a conclusion after looking at all these different things, is that if we practice yoga regularly every day, and avoid these oils especially, right? Then you can eat anything in general. It's not that, you don't have to be that. But especially if you can choose organic, then that is best. And then regarding proteins, for example, we eat moong dal, right? Every day, moong dal. Moong dal is the best form of protein. You don't need some people say, oh, you need fish for protein and this and that. No, moong dal is best. And wheat, of course, in large quantities daily may not be that good, but in general it's okay. It's not bad. I mean, there is nothing that you should avoid it. But also something that is very easy to digest, food should be light, should be easy to digest. What I found was these millets. If you just do Google millets and Whole Food store, you will get. These millets are very easy to digest and very good, healthy. So these are something which you can use very, eat very quickly. Bajra, jawar, right? So there's also the small millets which you can use. You can make.
Any particular reason for the moong dal and not the others?
Tur dal is called physical dal, but moong dal is called as brain dal. It gives you proteins, it gives you thinking power. So Prabhupada said the moong dal is very good for health. Especially akha moong, green gram, sprouts. Sprouts, kidney beans not so much. Kidney beans is gas, not so much. I'm serious. The red kidney beans you are talking about, it's not rajma. Rajma is not very, I mean it's good for taste, but
same thing with the garbanzo beans.
Huh?
Garbanzo beans the same thing.
Yeah. Potatoes. Right. And the worst thing you can eat, cauliflower. Cauliflower, because it has so much of worms which grow on that, so they put pesticide right into the water of the of that, so the plant grows with that poison. Right, yeah.
I'm a scientist by profession and work as UMass. So whenever we talk with someone, always there is a scientific aspect, because these days we can prove everything in front of us. And we believe that in yoga there is a lot of things that there which we can prove it scientifically. But few things you mentioned, I was confused. That you take the food, it goes to protein, it becomes blood, then protein, then bone marrow. Nobody will believe it, because this concept of digestion is entirely different. We have a lining on our stomach or intestine, and the food is digested by enzymes and broken into carbohydrates, fats, phosphorus pieces. They go to the lining, they go inside, then they become protein, carbohydrate, fats. How can we say that they become bone and bone marrow and then digested? How can we scientifically say that?
Of all scientific progress that we have done, can we make blood artificially?
No, we cannot.
We cannot. So whatever progress the science has done, it has not reached anywhere. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, as long as the soul is within the body, there is pranavayu, there is production of blood cells. Now how will you disprove that? He is saying from Shastra. He is saying you are Atma. How will you scientifically prove Atma?
No, my concept is okay.
No, what I am saying, so there are so many things I am sad. How do I prove scientifically? You are happy. Prove it scientifically. Below a microscope, below a telescope.
Bone is a calcium basically.
No. What I am saying, there are so many things which cannot have a scientific basis. But that doesn't mean they are wrong. Scientific proof works with what can be done within the scientific purview. If something doesn't work under that, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Right? So this is where here our basis is Shastra. Shastra says human stool is dirty, cow dung is pure. Now how do I prove that scientifically? Right? Cow dung is pure, we accept it. Right? And we apply cow dung. And it is perfectly pure. It is used for cooking, so cow urine, it has so much properties. So the word of Shastra, right? So there are three types of proof. Right, coming to this, there are three types of proof which is given in the Bhagavad Gita. The first type of proof is called as Pratyaksha Praman. Pratyaksha Praman means I can see, I can experiment. What the scientists use. Madhvacharya rejects it right away. He says human is subjected to 4 defects. He has limited senses. He has imperfect senses. Subject to illusion. Tendency to cheat. And not just that, and imperfect senses, tendency to cheat, illusion. So these are the basic defects that we have. Now with this, whatever instruments we produce will also have those limited senses, right? Limits. So because of that, what happens is, whatever we see within this also is also having those drawbacks, right? And we are looking at it from one perspective. So that is why that type of proof, which cannot have an unlimited scope, is rejected by Madhvacharya. The second is Anumana Praman. Anuman means I see something and assumption. Yeah, I try to assume something. For example, like they say this man came from monkey, right? So many people believe that, right? But the Shastras say, if you ask any Indian, like all of us are from India basically, if I ask you, what is your Gotra? What will you say? Everybody, you know your Gotra, right? Yes. Oh, what is it? Just name anybody.
Kaushish.
Kaushish Gotra. Right. What does it mean? There was a rishi named Kaushish from which your family descended. Right? We don't say monkey when we talk about our Gotra. Right? So this is Anuman. Why? Because there is monkey, there is man. Right? But this monkey did not sleep and become man overnight. It evolved, as they say. But you cannot find a half monkey, half man yet. There is monkey, there is man. So what do they say? This is missing. So this is called missing link. So this is Anuman Praman. So trying to interpolate. So Madhvacharya rejects this. The third type of proof which is given in the Shastra is Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means what is given in the Veda. It is very difficult to prove this within a lab or a scientific way. Right? So these truths are accepted, and when we practice based on that with the results, you are able to prove it. For example, I told one, I don't know if you came late or something. I told that milk drinking for curing the pains. Were you there? No. Like for example, I gave, it is given in Gaur Shastra, cow, milk. It said how cow milk is amrit. And it is said, when you drink this milk, cow's milk, you heat it, you put 1 spoon of ghee and you mix it nicely and stand up and drink this milk, sip by sip, because it's a little lukewarm, hot, you drink hot milk. You stand up and drink milk like this, your knee pains especially are cured, your joint pains are cured. So this was given in that Gaur Shastra. Now, Mr. A.K. Maheshwari, who is from Bombay, he gives it to all his patients who have joint pains. Right? He gives them that ghee and everything. Doctors came and said, this is not possible. Right? We cannot prove this. That you stand up and drink milk, it cures your pains. But in Gaur Shastra it is written, and it worked. It worked and it benefits. For example, like I was I was in Bangalore at that time. We used to have a Goshala and we used to get cow urine. We used to do the distilling of cow urine and add some Ayurvedic herbs. And you take 1 spoon of that cow urine, and also they used to also make tablets out of it, of this cow urine. 1 spoon of that cow urine with 1 glass of milk, and you drink it. People with diabetes, it reduced diabetes by more than 50%. Some people had this black growth, this diabetes. It completely disappeared. And we saw that, like I was selling that myself. So I saw so many things. Now this is very difficult to prove that it really works and how does it component work. But if you follow Shastra, as it is said in Shastra, and then you try it, and when it works, you assume, oh yes, what it is said is right. Right? So our basis is Shastra. So some things, many things we cannot see, how the human body runs, constitutes, like we say, somebody dies, you say he is gone. What is gone? Everything is there. Can we revive him? It's just the pumping of the heart and mechanical process. Can you do it? No. Why? What is gone from that is the prana, is the soul. Soul cannot be replaced, isn't it? So that is why there are many things. Basically what happens is, because we have lost touch with Shastra, so our faith has also, we are trying to correlate science and this, isn't it? So that's why. So I am just trying to give you a perspective of how scientific Shastra is. But you have to be on that platform of Shastra to kind of work on it in that, the way it says, and then you can prove the result. Right? So I'm sorry if I've been a little hard, but I was trying to put.
I have a Japanese friend. I was telling him that vegetarian diet is good. I'm vegetarian. I don't drink it, totally vegetarian.
Okay.
Not even take eggs. But he says that our average life in Japan is 80, 90 years old. We all take meat and fish food and everything. So how can you justify that?
See, we are not trying to say, we are not just talking about living long life. We are talking about yoga and mental health as well. If you see the Japanese society, the way everybody, the way the society is organized, it is the least theistic country in one sense, right? And what do they do when there is a tsunami and an earthquake? Could they do anything? No. And if you see where it occurred, this tsunami, that place, that what is that? Fukushima. That place was the number 1 in Japan for abortions. It was. So we were thinking how, we were trying to work it out, but it is bad karma, basically. So we are not just talking about, there are so many asuric foods also. If you see demons, Hiranyaksh, Hiranyakashipu, they were so powerful. Huh? So, but we don't want like that. We want sattvic. Even in tamoguna you can be very strong and healthy, right? But that's not our goal. Our goal is not just physical health, but we are talking about mental and intellectual health. So that's what it is.
One thing I have realized is we don't do any clinical studies like they do it here. And nowadays, actually, more recently, Baba Ramdev actually is doing all those stuff. Why can't we do it more organized scale, like you were saying?
No, they did actually in Bangalore, especially. There is a.
So then there's a proof.
Yeah, and there is a university which is started, which is called I forget, Swami Vivekananda something, Vivekananda Nadanusandhana Kendra, and places like that they are doing these kind of experiments. Like for example, before I came here, one paper was out. In that paper, it was a PhD paper on somebody. He was given Infosys. They were given about 60 people. So they were divided into 30-30. One group did yoga, pranayam and followed the vegetarian diet and everything. Then another group was given this exercise. And every food and music and dance and all this stuff. To see whether that exercise, how it affects the blood pressure, heart rate, mental, all these things were taken down. So those who did yoga and everything, the heart rate, this thing, the mental disturbance, this level was very low. They were very calm. Whereas the other ones, those who did this, those who put these headsets and go for, jogging and all that. So they found that their heart rate actually was very high. The anxiety levels were high. So there were so many experiments like that. Next, on the plants also they did another experiment where for one plant you chant mantra, Hare Krishna or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then on another plant you throw abuses and all different things, or they don't do anything. So the plant with this music and everything, the growth rate, everything was very nice. So there are so many papers which are coming out. You can actually find out. There are big yoga conferences happening. But the point is they are happening on a smaller scale. The problem especially is that in US and other places, yoga as a preventive source is being, मतलब उसको दबाया जा रहा है. Why? Because these big industries, these big medical industries, which are thriving on bad food and bad lifestyle, if they introduce yoga in universities as a legal thing and it becomes an in thing, already yoga is practiced by so many people, 15 million in America. If more and more practice, then they are out of business, right? So that's why they don't actually try to help this out. Like that. Yeah, one last question, yes.
This question is in follow-up to your two examples, good thoughts and bad thoughts on water and the formation of crystals, organized or not organized, structured crystals and plants. So we can do an effort to keep our thoughts pure and avoid those kind of unstructured formation of not crystals, but blood is also liquid, good crystals can form. How can we avoid that effect from others to us? Others people can abuse you, or people can think negative about you. How can you avoid that?
The effect of other person doing something to you depends on the perception of your mind. So our process of yoga is to strengthen your mind to such an extent that you become resistant to this. So increase your mental power, increase positive energy. That is why the whole lifestyle of yoga is in such a way that slowly your mind gets purified, and as you get purified, the mind becomes stronger. I'll end with this small story of Buddha. Buddha was taking bath and coming out. And this man who was envious of Buddha, he spit on Buddha's face. Buddha went back, took bath and came back. This man spit on him again. Buddha went back, took bath and came back. And this happened 31 times. This man got wild and he asked Buddha, "What kind of a creature are you? I am trying to make you scream and yell at me and you are peaceful." Now Buddha said, "If I have to scream and yell at you, I have to go below your level. My mind has to think below your level to bring you down. I don't want my mind to do that. So do whatever you want." Right? So it is in your mind. If your mind is above there, then some things you have to tolerate. They will just go.
Thank you.
Alright, so I will stop here. So we have a nice dinner, though it's a little late. So we have a nice dinner waiting for you. And one small announcement is that before we end, if anyone is interested, you can give me your name and your email address and your phone number if you're interested. We have a newsletter that I sent, and some, there is a forum, question answers, I can add you to that. We also have newsletters from our temple with all these different, beautiful things. So you can definitely join that group and you can keep updated and we can keep in touch. Like anytime you'd like to consult or meet, or you're visiting Vrindavan, I stay in New Vrindavan, you can all visit and meet me. I have this December 29th and 30th in New Vrindavan, we are having a full-scale yoga retreat. So where we'll have bhajans, kirtans, yoga, then we'll have food, we'll have dance, bhajans, chanting, all these different things will be there. So you're all invited to New Vrindavan. From here it's what?
8 hours drive.
8-9 hours drive. So if you're interested, you can all come down. So that is nice. Wheeling, yeah. Yeah, so maybe somebody can pass a piece of paper and if you'd like to just give in your details, that will be nice. Alright? So thank you. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So thank you everybody for coming and listening to Prabhuji. I think dinner is downstairs, so go there. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a great lunch. I hope you like the program.
Very happy. I want my kids to listen. I didn't let them go.